All right, everybody's, well, maybe not everybody, but Nikki's been after me to talk about it, and I seen old Justin Peden come on there, and he wanted me to say something about this guitar. As we all know, what old Peden wants, he gets. And you know that's how it is around these parts. So anyway, we're gonna have to talk about this thing. I was too embarrassed to talk about it cause it's a doggone cheap. I didn't want to even mention the thing. I was hoping nobody would notice it. But no, what this is, well, what happened is I got this hip shot B bender on eBay for a good price, considering that it's got the palm G bender and also has a drop D flip thing on it. And I got it for like 120 something or 150 bucks. I can't remember which is, usually just a B bender alone costs that much. Usually with all this crap on it, it runs about $200 or $300. So anyway, I had that thing, and I got that Harley Benton guitar because I was gonna just get an old cheap guitar to put it on. So I didn't want to, damage a real good guitar. But you don't really do no damage to it, but a little bit. I mean, well, the way this one came, since it was a vintage one, you just take the strap button off, and I made a video showing me put it on there and everything. But anyhow, that worked okay. But I like for two reasons I decided to get this guitar and put it on here. Number one reason is it needed more than just that strap lock. It was not playing in tune like that. It needed some screws to make it solid. And I started out, so I ordered this guitar, and I started out I drilled 2 holes in this bender, and I put those 2 screws there. I started out just doing that because I've seen a lot of the newer ones just have that on them. And put them 2 screws on there and checked it, and still, whenever you would press down on it, you could see the metal flexing, and that was causing, you got your one string going up, but when that metal flexes, the other string was going down, and I didn't like that. I was just playing out of tune, and I don't see how other people deal with that like that. I mean, I know I wasn't in perfect tune a while ago or nothing, but I mean, it's ridiculous the way it does just right up. The way this one did when I just screwed it on with the strap button, there's no way I could deal with that. So anyway, I put them 2 screws in there, and that wasn't enough. So I wound up drilling 2 holes here, and now I got 2 screws right here on the top. You can see right there. So I had to drill, a couple of holes in the top of the guitar. And that Harley Benton guitar is not an expensive guitar, a couple $150 or something like that. But I really like it, man. It's a great sounding guitar, and I really just wanted to leave it like it was. Didn't want to drill no holes in it. So that's where this thing comes in. I got on eBay, and I looked up the cheapest telecaster style guitar that they had. And this thing, it's so cheap it don't even have a name nowhere on it, but it's brand new. And I ordered this thing, and you ain't gonna believe it costed me, I think, a total of like $65. And I didn't figure it would be worth a crap. And I wasn't expecting much. And when I got it, first thing I noticed is it is light. I mean, this thing is the lightest guitar that I have ever played. It's lighter than an acoustic. It's just, I hadn't weighed it, but it ain't much. Even with this bender on it, it's the lightest guitar in this house. And that's the first thing I noticed when I grabbed the box. I thought, man, is there anything in there? But anyway, I don't know what it is. It's probably just pine or something, real cheap pine or something. But I'll tell you what, other than, the frets, when I got Took it out of the box. Oh, they were sharp on. They hadn't been dressed at all on the edges. I mean, it laid your hand open if you'd have played it like it was. So I had to round off the ends of the frets and dress them and all that. So that's always a chore that I don't really particularly enjoy doing. As I just use a needle file, I need to get some fret files, and that may make it a little easier to round off them ends. But I don't really see how a fret file will do it as good as I can do it with a needle file, because I really try to round the ends off like a bullet, and it works. It's so much smoother when you do that. I mean, now it feels great, you know. But anyway, I got that done, and other than that, though, this thing's great. For the price, I don't see how they sell them that cheap, because you can't even buy these parts. I mean, if you ordered a set of tuners, it would cost you 20 something bucks. And if you ordered the pickups, now, granted, I know these are cheap pickups, cheap tuners, everything on it's cheap. But you know, I mean, the thing plays good. It was intonated right. That was unbelievable. Out of the box, it was intonated right. The truss rod was straight, the neck was straight. I don't have any rattly frets. The frets are level. The neck's straight. After I done that finishing on them, dressing them ends on the frets, and the nuts the right height, the strings are the right height, then the nut. I mean, everything about it was just right. Even the pickup height was set right. And now I know these are cheap pickups, but you know, now a while ago I was playing through a little crappy Vox Pathfinder amplifier that I've got sitting in here in the living room, and it's not a real good amp. So you know, it don't got much tone. I mean, it's all right, but it ain't got no reverb, and it ain't, you know, it's just solid state amp. But I just got it in here in the living room. You can hook this thing up to a tube amp, and it sounds fine. And you know, I mean, I'm a sucker for cheap guitars that actually do what they're supposed to do. And I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. It's not a high-end guitar by no means. Ain't nothing about it high-end. But it does what it's supposed to do. And you could take and put a good set of pickups on it, and it would sound about as good as any other, you know, in my opinion. I think if you put a set of good pickups in this thing and hooked it up to a good tube amp, it would sound, you wouldn't be able to tell a heck of a lot of difference between it and like an American Standard. There wouldn't be 5 cents difference if you recorded it and listened to it, in my opinion, or that's my theory. But anyway, I like the heck out of it, and I like the fact that it is super lightweight, because with this hip shot bender on it, you know, you have to push it around and stuff, and that works real good with it being light like that. And you don't have to worry about it. I mean, 65 freaking bucks, man. I'm a good mind to order another one just to have to mess with like this, experiment on and do stuff. I like it the way I got it now. It's fine. I may put some better pickups on it, but other than that, and these pickups ain't bad. You can just tell they ain't real stout, you know. But other than that, ain't nothing wrong with this guitar, man. And I'm gonna play the crap out of it. Like I said, I've talked about stuff being hyped up before, and a lot of this crap with music instruments, especially electric guitars, is a bunch of hype. You know, I mean, yeah, this is cheap wood. You ain't getting much tone out of this wood. But at the end of the day, most of the tone on an electric guitar is from the pickups. If it plays good, most of the tone comes out of the electronics. Yeah, the wood has some effect on it. It absolutely does. Again, it's such a small, subtle detail. A musician that's playing the thing can tell it. Oh yeah, a professional musician can tell the difference by far. Big difference. But the average casual listener, no way they can tell the difference. They may hear something's different, but they can't tell if it's better, worse, or what. It's all personal preference. You know, I've said it before, and I believe that. And I'm a sucker for these cheap guitars. They're fun to mess with. I know Will Ray on there is all-time getting cheap guitars offline and, you know, hot rodding them up, putting some pickups on them. And he always puts a hip shot on them. And I mean, the guy's got signature G&Ls, you know, made special for him. And he plays El Cheapos all the time that he fixes up. He likes screwing around with them. And I'm the same way. But at the end of the day, you know, yeah, you spend more money, you do get better quality. There's no doubt about it. But an old cheap guitar, if it's set up good, and nowadays it's so surprising that they're making them this good, this cheap, right from the factory. You know, if you'd have bought something this cheap in the 80s, when I was a kid, man, that neck would have looked like a daggone bow and arrow or something. You know, it'd have been all out of whack. But $65, man, you can't even buy an electronic tuner, a good tuner for that hardly. You can't get a stomp box of any kind hardly, baby. So it's amazing what they can make these days on a shoestring like this, overseas or whatever. But I love it, and that's the story behind this thing that I hadn't been said nothing about. The reason I got it was so I could drill holes in it and didn't have to worry about it. And I'm loving it. It's working fine for what I wanted it for. So now y'all know the rest of the story, like Paul Harvey said. See y'all next time.